Hi everyone, how are we doing? Goes without saying, so much negativity around Celtic at the moment. It's kind of hard to avoid it. As much as we always like to put a positive spin in videos, it is very difficult at the moment. We've got another video for you today. We're going to take a little bit of a break from chat about the weekend defeat to Rangers, chat about Neil Lennon, there's more on that tomorrow with Jackie Mack, and chat about any of the underperforming players. And we're actually going to chat on today's video, and I'm saying chat a lot, I realise. We're going to discuss on today's video a player who is seen as one of the hottest prospects at Celtic Park, but has certainly taken a bit of a negative turn in terms of his development over the last couple of months or so, Karamoko Dembele. Before we get on to all of that, I'm just going to put my usual shout. I do this about once every week, a proper shout out that if you've not yet managed to subscribe to this channel, we would really appreciate you doing so. We've had so many views over the last week or so, 50,000 odd in the last week. Not all of them have come from Celtic fans. There have been supporters of other teams chipping in, and while some of the comments are a little bit over the top, I must say I'm absolutely delighted with everyone from other clubs watching our videos. Why? Because it's helping the channel and it's helping me towards my target this month. So if you're watching this and you're a supporter of another team, enjoy yourself, chill out and watch this video. Thank you very much. But mainly I'm talking to the Celtic fans here. If you're a Celtic fan, which you probably are, and you like the channel, you want to hear from the likes of Jackie McNamara, me, John McGinley, David Walton, you want to get these kind of videos, you also want to hear live match reactions right after full time for virtually every Celtic match. You want to have near daily content on the channel, and you don't even want to pay a penny, then ticks all the boxes. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on a laptop or desktop computer, you can do that just by going into the bottom right hand corner, down there, clicking that wee thing that looks like a tiny wee rectangle. You can barely make it out. Click subscribe and yeah, we'll be there. You'll massively help me. We're trying to get to around the 10,000 mark by Christmas, or certainly the end of the year. We may not quite make it, but we're going to give it a good shot. So this is your chance to really help me out. Please click subscribe, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Right, let's move on to Karamoko Dembele. Many people felt this was going to be the season when Karamoko Dembele made his proper breakthrough into the Celtic first team. He's made, I think, 2 or 3 appearances. His initial debut came on Trophy Day a couple of seasons ago when he came on as a half-time substitute against Hearts. Last season he played against Ross County, and he also played in the Dead Rubber Europa League game against Cluj in Romania. Now, start of this season, as I say, people were expecting him to make a bit of an impression, and it actually got off to a really good start. You may remember the pre-season game. I think it was our final pre-season match against Hibs that we played. 3-1 it was at Celtic Park. It was kind of the game that was used, I think, as a bit of an excuse to test out the Path to Paradise and make sure that it worked for season ticket holders. Anyway, Karamoko Dembele played that full game, even scored in that match. A week later, he was then thrust into the limelight in the last few minutes as a substitution in the Flag Day win over Hamilton Accies. 5-1 that finished. Dembele didn't exactly do a great deal, didn't have a lot of time to do a great deal, but he did come on late in that game. The match after that, we played at Rugby Park. He was then involved in the matchday squad again. He was on the bench. He didn't get on, but it was at that point when things seemed to have gone south for the young 17-year-old. Celtic have played 12 matches in all competitions. Since that game at Rugby Park, Karamoko Dembele hasn't been involved in the matchday squad for any of them. And given that we're allowed to use more substitutions than ever before this season, and we're allowed to name more substitutes on the bench, that's a little bit concerning. Even more concerning is the fact that we've lost so many right-sided players over the last wee while. You think of James Forrest, Ryan Christie can play on the right, Hatem Abd El Hamed, if I can spit his name out, as well, even though he's more of a defensive option, obviously. We've lost Marian Shved from the club. Leo Connor's gone out on loan as well. Basically, the only player we've got fit at the moment on the right-hand side is Jeremy Frimpong. And despite all of that, Karamoko Dembele still is nowhere to be seen in matchday squads. So what is going on? The youngster's been pictured in training just last week, so there's clearly no injury problem there. So what's the story? Well, he's out of contract next June, I think it is, the end of next season anyway. So effectively Dembele could agree a pre-contract with a new team as early as January. Now that's just a matter of months away. Yes, we'd be entitled to compensation given that we've trained him and brought him up through the youth development kind of thing. But that's not really the point. The point is that this was a guy who was expected to make a big breakthrough at Celtic, and at the moment he's nowhere to be seen. And with his contract ticking along, soon he could be out the door and we could not really know what happened. Now, despite not really playing with us, he's still held high regard with the English youth setup. He's actually playing at England under 18 level now. To be honest, I didn't even know there was an under 18 level. I thought it just went up in odd numbers and then up to under 20 and then the full team. But he's been into the under 18 team. They didn't play any games in the international break, but he was still named in a squad as they aim to get a bit of camaraderie going between their players. So it's a strange situation at the moment. He's been named in England squads. He's not featuring for Celtic at all. And as I say, it's just a bit peculiar. Now, forgive me for the next minute or so as I wildly speculate as to what the problem may be. Again, forgive me because this might sound pretty crazy. When Neil Lennon spoke after the defeat against Ferencvaros about players that didn't want to be there and saying it really was irking him at the time, people assumed that he was talking about first team players like Ryan Christie, Christopher Ayer, Olivier Ntcham. Those were the main three that were mentioned. That may still be the case. It probably is the case with at least one of those three. However, could it be that Lennon was actually referring to some players a little bit down the pecking order, more in the periphery of things? Perhaps Karamoko Dembele is one of the players he was talking about. It just seems to add up, the fact that around that time, just prior to the Ferencvaros game, that Kilmarnock game, Dembele was very much in Neil Lennon's plans. Why would he have brought him on late in that Hamilton game if he wasn't going to give him opportunities this season? But since then, in a dozen games, 12 full matches, he hasn't made the matchday squad in any of them. That suggests to me something's happened with Karamoko Dembele. This isn't just, a developing player been taken out of the limelight for a wee bit. He hasn't even made the bench. There's something going on there, and I just wonder if he is perhaps one of the players that Neil Lennon was mentioning when he was talking about guys that wanted to move away from the club and their hearts weren't exactly set on Celtic at present. Now, I can hear you shouting at me, he's only 17, we shouldn't be getting ahead of ourselves. Why would a 17-year-old have the right to start for Celtic? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just pointing out that the fact he's not even been on the bench certainly raises a fair few questions. This is a guy who's been on our books from a very young age. He's been known about by the club's fans and the media in this country and even overseas media from around the age of 11 or 12. Remember, he made that debut for the development team at an incredibly young age. I think he was 12 if I'm right in saying so. And since then he's gradually worked his way up, but you can't deny that his development's certainly taken a downturn this season. He's gone from being a player who's been making the odd appearance now and then to not being in matchday squads at all. As I say, especially when we've not exactly got a wealth of right wingers at present. Why was there no chat of Dembele being loaned out in the summer if he wasn't going to get opportunities at Celtic? It's another weird question that I've got that I think people should consider the answer to. And especially at a time when the club have lost Liam Morrison, Barry Hepburn to Bayern Munich. We haven't exactly had lots and lots of players breaking through from the academy into the first team either. Yes, Stephen Welsh played at the weekend. Would he have played if we'd have had any other option who could have played at the back against Rangers? I think we all know the answer to that. There's been Anthony Ralston, Calvin Miller, Ewan Henderson, but none of them have really been given a proper opportunity to put their imprint into the team and really make a stand. Scott Robertson, another one who's been loaned out. So I'm going to go more in depth in this in a future video, looking at Celtic's current youth players who could make the step up and why more haven't made the step up since Mikey Johnson basically in 2016, comparing Brendan Rodgers to Neil Lennon in terms of the chances he gave to youth players. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do that probably next week when things calm down a little bit. But for now, the question is, Karamoko Dembele, what is going on? If you've got any thoughts below about why you think he's been taken out of the limelight, whether his time at Celtic is nearing a pretty sad end, or what kind of level you think Karamoko Dembele can go to in future years, let me know below. As I said earlier, if you've not yet managed to subscribe to the channel, please do that. It would be massively appreciated by me, the Johns, David, Jackie I'm sure as well. It would be massively appreciated. Take care. We're back tomorrow. Hail, hail.